Hi, this is just a short introductory video for you who want to make project proposals or want to encourage your students to make their own project proposals. So, what is a project proposal? Well, it all comes down to the starting point of all problem-based learning experiences, the problem. So we of course start with the initiating problem. And the initiating problem is first of all, of course, the problem that we observe, the potential that we see in the future. It's a motivation why we should actually address this problem, why is it important, how can we contribute, also from maybe a disciplinary point of departure. And then finally, it's guiding the further process by having a question which would actually direct us in making a problem analysis to see whether this in fact is a relevant problem, whether the problem that we first considered to be there is the actual problem, and what is the state of the art to address this problem. How can we actually, from our point of view, address this problem, maybe from a more disciplinary setting, contributing into a broader and more systemic problem-solving process. So, when the initiating problem has been described and a problem analysis has been motivated by this statement, there can also in a project proposal be a consideration to the boundaries or their possibilities. It's actually two sides of the same coin, because that is for the intended learning outcomes in the curricula. What kind of boundaries is these learning outcomes setting? What kind of possibilities is this actually providing us to address this problem that we see? This will also give some kind of idea of where we are going, where we can move to address this problem. It can be more disciplinary boundaries. It can also in fact be learning objectives actually asking for a more interdisciplinary or contextual approach. So the intended learning outcomes in the curricula is very important to include in the project proposal, so we actually can see the framing of the process beforehand. Finally, there should also be considerations to the resources. That can be human resources, both in consideration of the people being in a project group, the students, what kind of knowledge level are there? Are they at what kind of state are they in regarding their knowledge? Also, we have to consider the resources, and that goes for both the human resources, considering the group, the knowledge level, the number of students being in the group, and also, of course, the possibility to collaborate with other human resources outside the group. It can be an expert, professor coming in to supervise within this field. It can also be an external partner which can actually come in and be a resource for the project. It can also be the time consideration to the duration of the project coming into play, that you have to take that into consideration as soon as in the project proposal. And of course, we also have some economic resources. If, for example, you want to make some prototype, you have to have the economy actually to buy the material and so. So there's also an economic part for the group in considering the whole project. However, the most important thing is who is actually creating these project proposals. Because of course sometimes if we have a very disciplinary project, if we want to move the students in a very specific way, it might be that the professors move in and they might make a proposal including the problem and the motivation, overall motivation for addressing this problem. They might still leave it up to the students to actually frame the questions, to go into the problem analysis, and also to explain more in depth about their own motivation to address this problem. It can also be that in some situations it is the professors, the facilitators, going in and actually making it very clear for the students in the first semester that there are some kind of boundaries that they have to use when they play around in the playground. There are some fences, but at the same time there are also a lot of different possibilities inside this framing of the project. But it is also a possibility, and we can see that in different kind of semesters where it's more innovative, more open project, that the students go in and create their own project proposals. And this is really where the students get a competence in actually doing the very first part of the problem design, identifying a problem and starting to frame it in relation to the curriculum. And that is a very important competence too. So this was very shortly about project proposals and how we typically frame them at Aalborg University. Thank you for your attention.